Hello and welcome back to Setup Phase. Today I will be doing a playthrough of Imperium. I will be playing as Romans, the bot will be playing as Persians. Both of the nations are from the Classics box, as well as using all the common cards from the Classics box. I've already created the market deck. Only Moneylenders is a civilized card and it starts with the progress. I've shuffled my deck. I have the Ascension card and the Nation deck, as well as the Development deck nearby. My scoring card for the Romans says that I get 1 victory point for every 2 populations that I have, up to a maximum of 10. For the bot, this is their draw deck, and this is the deck from which they will add cards once their deck runs out. It has the Nation deck shuffled, followed by the Ascension card, and then the Development deck in descending order of points. All that remains is for me to deal 5 cards from the bot deck below the 5 numbers. And in a solo game, you always start first. So let's draw the 5 cards. And we can begin. I almost forgot. We start with 3 materials, 2 population, and a progress. In a turn, you can either activate by playing the 3 actions and using the 5 exhausts. You can innovate, which skips your turn and gain any card in the display, or you can revolt, which allows me to return any unrest that I have in hand, and then I skip the turn. For the first action, let's play advance. It says that I can choose to pay 3 materials to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card, or 5 materials to break through for a civilized or uncivilized card. I only have 3 materials. I will pay them in order to acquire the shrine. When you acquire cards, you take them in your hand. For the second action, let's play the shrine. This has a pin, which means that it will stay in play. It has an exhaust. By paying 1 material, I can draw a card, and during solstice, I may discard a card to return an unrest from my discard pile. And for the third action, let's play Dalmatia. It is a land. I can gain a population, and I may garrison a card, which I will do by garrison 1 of the unrest. In the cleanup phase, I forgot to reveal the next card. In the cleanup phase, I add 1 progress to 1 of the cards. Let's add it to the steps. Then I return my action tokens. I may discard any number of cards. I will discard all of them and draw up to my hand size of 5 cards. For the bot's turn, you roll a die, place the die on the card with the magic number, and then using its activation sheet on the barbarian side, because it's still a barbarian, you flip all the cards except the one that has the dice and resolve them based on the action sheet. For the first card, it is an unrest. You look from top to bottom and resolve the first matching condition. It's the first one. We return this card to the unrest pile. Next, it has a land. It gains 1 population and plays this land. Let's have his played cards here. and exile a card from the market. When they exile a card from left to right, the first one that doesn't have a token, in our case, the town. And we refill with the Egyptians. Next is a tributary and a barbarian, but tributary comes first. It gains 2 materials and 2 population. So 2 materials and 2 population. Discard the top card of the board deck. And he puts this card into history beneath the power card. And for the last card, Conquest, which is a barbarian card. If able, spend 3 population, which it can, to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. And it will break through 4 Egyptians. Whenever they acquire a card, they put it on top of the draw deck. Because it's a breakthrough, they don't take the unrest. And we put this card into history. And we refill with a city. At the end of its turn, it adds 1 progress on the market card where the dice is. We would slide the card to the first slot, but it's already there. And we refill the cards up to 5. Before we begin our turn, we have the solstice effect. We only have the shrine with a solstice effect. We may discard a card to return an unrest from our discard pile. I will discard glory to return this unrest. And now we can begin our turn. I have 3 actions and 5 exhausts that I can use. Let's first play the Roman expansion by using 1 action. It says acquire a land, and I will require the steps. I will also gain the progress on it. You may acquire a land again. Let's refill first. Let's acquire the floodplain as well. Each other player recalls a land. When the bot recalls a land, it puts it on top of its deck. And put this card into history. I'll spend another action to play Triumvirate. Breakthrough for an uncivilized card. I will take leadership. When you break through, you don't take the unrest. And put this card into history. Next, I will play leadership. It's a free play, so I don't need to use an action token. Choose draw a card or put a card from your hand or discard pile into history. I will choose to draw a card, but my draw deck is empty. When this happens, you take the next nation card, add it to your discard pile, add an exhaust token on the nation deck, shuffle your discard pile, and draw the cards that you still need, which is a glory. I have 1 more action. Let's use the next action in order to play the steps. It says that I need to exile a card from the market. Let's exile this invasion and refill it with a town. And I may garrison a card. I will not. I only have 1 exhaust ability, but I don't have any materials to use it. And I think I will keep Prosperity and Conquest in my hand. Discard the other ones. I need to add a progress to this town, for example. Return all the tokens. And draw up to my hand limit of 5. It's the bot's turn. Rolls a 5. And let's see what it does. Conquest is another barbarian card. If able, spend 3 population. It does not have. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 materials to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. The card that he acquires is the one with the most points. This one has 2 points, plus 1, 3. City has 1 point, and the moneylenders has 5, plus 1, 6, and mysticism 1. So he takes moneylenders. He acquires first the unrest and then the card. And it's refilled with mercenaries and discards the card. Next is a tributary, which gains him 2 material and 2 population. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put this card into history. Next, it's prosperity, which is all the way down here. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Gain 1 material and 1 population per land in play, but he doesn't have anything. You may draw a card. In this case, you means the player. I will draw a card. And discards the played card. And next, it's a land. It gains 1 population. Plays this land and exiles a card in play, which is the city. And it's replaced by woodlands. Adds a progress to the 5 card. The unplayed card slides to number 1 and refills. Its deck is empty. He takes the next card from the development deck, adds it to their discard pile. It's shuffled, and you continue filling the row. Before we begin our turn, we have the solstice effect. We may discard a card to return an unrest from the discard pile. I think I can do this. I think I can discard the unrest and return the unrest back. This is the only solstice effect. We move to our turn, and we have 3 actions. Let's free play leadership, which allows us to draw a card. For the first action, I will play Prosperity, which says all players may draw a card. When the bot draws a card, it just discards the top card of their deck. We don't have any more cards in our draw deck. We add the next nation card, add an exhaust token. We shuffle the deck and draw the card. I can choose to gain 1 material per bag, which is only on the land cards, or gain 1 population per land in play. Let's get 1 material per bag, in our case 3. And we discard the played card. I can use the next action to play advance. I can pay 3 materials, the one that I just got. In order to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card, I will take mysticism. I will use the next action to play mysticism. It says that I can exhaust to gain 1 action, and during the solstice, I need to choose to either take 1 unrest or discard 2 cards. I will exhaust it in order to gain 1 action back. And I will use the action in order to play the City of Rome. This has another solstice ability where I may discard a card to choose to either gain 1 population, 1 material, or draw a card. With this, the turn ends. I need to add a progress to something. Let's add a progress to the forest. Return all the tokens. Then I can discard any cards that I want. Let's discard these 2 cards and draw up to my hand size of 5. Next, the bot rolls a 2. Unrest gets returned. A barbarian card, if able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. There's no tributary available, so it will look into the market deck for the first one and add it to the top of its deck. And puts this card into history. Next, it's Glory. If able, abandon 3 lands. It only has 1 land. Otherwise, break through for a land and it will take Forest because it has victory points on it. And the last card is Moneylenders. And it only fits into Other. If able, acquire a tributary. It cannot. Otherwise, if able, acquire an uncivilized card. There are 2. The town has 2 victory points plus 1 and diplomacy 1 victory point, so it will take the town. And discards the card. It adds 1 progress to the woodlands and refills the cards. Before our turn, we have the solstice. Let's start with the mysticism. I can choose to make an unrest or discard 2 cards. I will take the unrest. The City of Rome says that I may discard a card to gain a population material or draw a card. Let's discard this unrest to gain 1 population. And the Shrine, I may discard a card to return an unrest from the discard pile. I will not. And now comes our turn. First, let's use leadership as a free play to draw a card or put a card from the hand or discard pile into history. I will draw a card. And it's another land. Let's spend 1 action to play 1 land. Let's say this one. Let's use the other action in order to play Glory. We need to abandon 3 lands. To look at the top 2 cards of the Fame deck, take 1 of these cards. I will need to abandon these 3 lands. To look at the top 2 cards of the Fame deck and take 1. And I will take Awe-inspiring and use my last action to play it. It allows me to increase my hand size by 1. I can exhaust Mysticism to gain 1 more action, and I can use this action to play Bread and Circus. During Solstice, I need to discard a card, and then I may return an unrest from my hand, and I can return an unrest from the discard pile as well. At the end of the turn, I need to put a progress on something. Let's put it on Diplomacy. I return the tokens. I can discard cards, but I think I will keep them. And I will draw up to my hand size, which is 5 plus 1 from awe-inspiring, which makes it a 6. For the bot, rolls a 6, which means he will play all the cards. And let's see. A land, it gains 1 population, plays this card, and exiles a card, which will be the city. Next is a barbarian card. If able to spend 3 population, it cannot otherwise spend 2 materials to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. And the most points is the mercenaries. Unrest gets returned. The land, it gets 1 population and is played. And the tributaries, it gains 2 population and 2 materials. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put this card into history. Since it rolled the 6, it doesn't add any progress. We refill. It only has 4 more cards left. Takes the next card, adds to the discard pile, shuffles, and adds the next one. And we're back to the solstice. Let's start with mysticism, which gets me another unrest. Bread and circus allows me to discard an unrest, discard a general card, and I may return an unrest from hand and 1 from the discard pile. The shrine allows me to discard a card to return an unrest from the discard pile. Let's discard the flat plains to gain a material. Now for our turn, let's use 1 action to play conquest. I can pay 2 population in order to acquire a tributary or land. Let's acquire the Ionians. Ionians is a free play. Return up to 2 unrest from your hand or discard pile. And I will return 2 unrests. And put this card into history. This was a free play, so it doesn't require an action. For the next action, I will play this land, which gets me 1 materials, and I may garrison a card, but I will not. Let's use the shrine. I will pay 1 material to draw a card. And then for the next action, I will use prosperity. All players may draw a card. I don't have any more cards, so I will add the next one. And draw it. When the bot draws a card, it discards the top card of their deck. And then I may gain 1 material per bag symbols, which I will do. I will play leadership to draw a card. And exhaust mysticism in order to get 1 action back and to use this action to play the step, which tells me to exile a card from the market. Let's exile these exports. And I may garrison a card. I will not. At the end of the turn, I need to add a victory to something. Let's add it to the hills. I return the tokens and then draw to my hand size, which is 6. Next, for the bottom, he rolls a 2. Unrest gets returned. Conquest is a barbarian card. It can spend 3 population to break through 4 a tributary and puts this card into history. Next is a tributary, which gains him 2 material and 2 population. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put this card into history. And a land, which gets him 1 population, play the land, and discard the card. He adds 1 progress to the card in number 2 slot and refills the cards. Next comes the solstice. We need to gain 1 unrest from mysticism. For the bread and circus, I discard a card and I may return an unrest from hand and 1 from the discard pile. I don't need the shrine for now. And the city of Rome. Let's discard a card. Let's discard the flat plains in order to get 1 material. Now it's our turn. We have 3 actions. For the first one, let's play Dalmatia. I gain 1 population and I can garrison a card, but I will not. Let's use Exhaust the Shrine to pay 1 material to draw a card, which is another land. Let's exhaust Mysticism to gain the action back. I will play Glory, which requires me to abandon 3 lands. And then look at the top 2 cards from the Fame deck and take 1 of them. Let's take Triumphant. This card cannot be played and cannot be garrisoned, but it gives me 11 points at the end of the game. Let's use the next action for Conquest to pay 2 population in order to take woodland. And for the next action, I will play Conquest. I don't have 3 materials, but I can always use 1 progress for 2 materials or 1 population. So this will be 2 materials and the other one in order to take the boats. At the end of the turn, I need to add a progress to something, but before that, let's refill. Let's add the progress to the port. I return my tokens. And I can discard cards. Let's discard these 3 cards and draw up to my hand size of 6. I don't have any more cards in the draw pile. I add the next card. And draw up the 6. Next, the bot. rolls a 1. Mercenaries, which will be an other. If able, acquire a tributary. It is not. Otherwise, acquire an uncivilized card, and it acquires Oracle. It has 5 points. Glory. It can abandon 3 cards by adding them to the discard pile, and takes the top card of the Fame deck. Moneylender, which is another other. There are still no tributaries, so it will acquire a non-civilized card. They both give 2 points, so it will take the port. And the unrest gets returned. Let's change this to a 5. And it adds 1 progress to card in slot number 1 and refills. Next we have the solstice. I will take an unrest from mysticism. I will discard a card and return an unrest from hand and discard pile. I don't need to use the shrine, and I won't use City of Rome. Let's see what we can do. Let's start by playing the lands. First land, I may garrison a card. I will not. The second land, I may draw a card of my choice from the discard pile and place it on top of the draw deck. I don't have any. I need to exile a card, and I may garrison a card. Let's exile the Sumerians. And we have another land. Let's play Prosperity. All players may draw a card. The bot just discards the top card of its deck. And let's get materials for the back symbols, which is 2. I can exhaust mysticism to get my action back. I will free play leadership in order to draw a card. Let's use the next action in order to play the flat plains. I may put a card from my discard pile into history. I don't have any that I want to put into history. Exile a card. Let's exile education. And I may garrison a card. I will not. I need to add a progress to something. Let's add it to diplomacy. I return the tokens. And I won't discard any cards and draw up to my hand size of 6. For the bot, rolls a 4. Prosperity. Discard the top card of the bot deck. It doesn't have any cards. It gains 1 population and 1 material per land in play, but it only has 1 land. And I get to draw a card. The port is a pin card. If able, acquire a land, and it will acquire the mountains. Oh, this should be in the discard pile. Put this card into history. The unrest gets returned. And the barbarian, it can spend 3 population to break through 4 tributary. And put this card into history. He adds a progress to diplomacy and then refuels. It only has 2 more cards. It adds the next one. We shuffle and refill. Next, for the solstice, mysticism gets me an unrest. For bread and circus, I can discard the unrest and return an unrest from my discard pile. City of Rome allows me to discard a card. No, not this one. I will discard Triumphant because it cannot be played. In order to, let's gain a population. And I think those are the solstice, the shrine. There's no need for me to do it. Let's get some population, I think, this turn, because we will need it in order to buy the development cards and also for the victory. The first action will be to play this land, which gets me 1 material. And I may garrison a card, but I will not. The next one, let's play this step card. Started to run out of space. I can exile a card from the market. Let's exile this card. And garrison, but I will not. And the next one will be Dalmatia. I get another population. And I may garrison a card, but I will not. Let's use mysticism to gain an action back. And then I will use this action in order to play prosperity. All players may draw a card. The bot discards a card. And let's gain 1 population per land in play. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands for 6 population. And at the end of the turn, I add 1 progress to something. No, I don't think. Let's, instead of using prosperity this turn, let's use the action in order to play advance, because I will be becoming an empire soon and I won't be able to play advance. I can pay 3 materials in order to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card, and let's acquire coinage. Okay, now at the end of the turn, I return the tokens. I can add 1 progress to something. Let's add it to the marsh, or yeah. I can discard cards. Let's discard 1 card. And I draw up to my hand size of 6. I only have 1 more card to draw. I add the Ascension card, which makes me an empire now. And draw the next card. For the bot, roll the 6 again. A fame card, discard the top 3 cards from the bot deck. and put this card into history. The tributaries, it gains 2 materials and 2 population. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put the card into history. The land gets played. It gains 1 population and exile a card from the market. The same for the other land. Oh, wiped out. And the tributaries, it gains 2 more materials. 2 more population. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put the card into history. It doesn't add any progress. 1, 2, 3, 4 adds the next card. And we're back to Solstice. We need to take 1 unrest from mysticism. We discard a card because of the bread and circus, and we return the unrests. We are an empire now, which means we cannot play the barbarian cards. I can easily discard it because of the city of Rome, and let's gain 1 material. And I think that's it. First, let's play coinage. Allows us to draw a card and during the solstice to gain 2 materials. And let's exhaust it to draw a card. Then I can exhaust mysticism to get another action. Well, I have 2 prosperities. Let's play them. Let's start with the first. All players may draw a card. The bot discards a card. We get to draw a card. And for the first one, let's get population. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands, which is 6 population. And let's play the other one. I get to draw another card. The bot discards another card. And this time, let's get materials for the back symbols. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And discard a card. Let's play leadership, but this time I will put a card from my hand into history and I will put triumphant. And for the last one, let's play glory in order to abandon 3 lands and look at the top 2 cards of the fame deck. Let's abandon Dalmatia, the flat plains, and the woodlands. Let's look at the top 2 cards of the fame deck. And let's take praiseworthy. This allows us to choose to either put this card into history, where it will be worth 7 points, or breakthrough for any card. Glory is discarded. At the end of the turn, I will discard Conquest. Let's return the tokens. And I need to put a victory point on something. Let's add it to the Metropolis. I will keep playing praiseworthy and draw up to my hand size of 6. The draw deck is empty, so I can take one of the development cards. I can choose which one, but I need to pay the bottom cost. And let's take the Roman legions by paying 3 population. Now for the bot. 6 again. Lands. Gain 1 population, play the land, and discard a card from the market. Glory. Abandon 3 cards and take the next card from the Fame deck. Moneylender, which will go to other. If able, acquire a tributary. Otherwise, if able, acquire an uncivilized card. And it will acquire diplomacy. And put this card into history. Unrest gets returned. And this card is a barbarian before it is a pin. So it spends 3 population in order to break through for a tributary. And put this card into history. We refill, it rolled a 6, so it doesn't add any progress. During solstice, we take 1 unrest from the mysticism, we discard it and return it with the bread and circus. I can discard conquest because I cannot play it because of City of Rome in order to get 1 more population. And that's it. Let's replay Julius Caesar. I get to draw 2 cards or acquire a land or tributary and put this card into history. Let's draw 2 cards, which is Glory again and another land. Let's spend 1 action to play Praiseworthy, and I will break through for a tributary. Which allows us to gain 4 materials. Let's use another action to play the Roman invasion. I may acquire a land or tributary. Let's acquire these hills and get a point. And each other player abandons a land. Let's use the next action in order to play Glory, to abandon the 3 cards. And I will need to look at 2, but there's only 1 and take it, which is great. Free play to gain 1 action. You may put this card into history. It has 6 victory points if it's in history. Let's free play it to gain 1 action and exhaust mysticism to gain another action. Oh, I also forgot to solstice for coinage to gain 2 materials. And that's exhausted to draw a card. Let's exhaust the shrine to pay 1 material to draw another card. Let's free play leadership to put a card from hand or discard pile into history, and I will put advance. And then I have 2 more actions. Let's place flat planes. I may put a card from discard pile into history. Let's put conquest. And then I need to exile a card. Let's exile these elders. And for the next play, let's play woodlands. You may draw a card of your choice from your discard pile and place it on top of your draw deck, and I will put great. Exile a card from the market. Let's exile the Queen. And I may garrison a card. I don't think I will play the boats now, so let's garrison it. At the end of the turn, I need to add a progress to something. Let's add it to this metropolis. And I will discard these 2 cards. Return the tokens. And draw up to the hand size of 6. I only have 4 cards. Let's see what we buy. Let's take the Eternal City of Rome. It requires 3 population and 3 materials. And I get to draw 2 more cards. For the bot, another 6. The tributary gain 2 material, 2 population. Discard the top card of the bot deck and put this card into history. Diplomacy will be an other. If able, it cannot acquire a tributary, but it can acquire an uncivilized card. Unrest gets returned. Fame discards the top 3 cards of the bot deck and puts the card into history. And Prosperity, discard the top card but it doesn't have any. Gain 1 population and 1 material per land in play, it doesn't have any, and I get to draw a card. It doesn't add a progress, it needs to refill the row, it doesn't have any more cards, adds the Ascension card, and now becomes an empire. And we go into Solstice. We already know coinage gets me 2 materials. I need to take 1 unrest from mysticism, discard it, and return it because of the bread and circus. I can discard a card because of City of Rome to get another population, and that's about it. Let's play Rome Eternal City. Only playable if City of Rome is in play, which it is. Put City of Rome in your history. And during the solstice, it's the same, but I don't need to discard a card. Let's play Great to get back the action. Let's use 1 action to play the hills. I get 1 more population. I need to exile a card from the market. Let's exile this one. And I can garrison a card, but I will not. Let's use another one to play Dalmatia. I get another population. And I may garrison a card, but I will not. Let's use Prosperity. The bot discards a card. We draw a card. And let's get population, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 population. Let's exhaust the shrine by paying 1 material to draw a card. and mysticism in order to get an action back, and coinage to draw a card. I will free play leadership in order to put a card from my hand or discard pile into history and put praiseworthy into history. And let's use the last action to play the step and exile a card from the market. Let's exile this one. Let's add a progress to something, maybe to this cataphracts, and return the tokens. Draw up to hand size of 6. We only have 5. Let's see what we buy next. Let's take this card. It requires 2 materials and 1 population. And draw the last card. The bot rolls a 5. And now it's on the Empire side. The first card doesn't match anything. If able, acquire a land. The second card is a pin card. Just puts it into history. Unrest gets returned, and the unrest gets returned. And he adds a victory point to number 5. For the solstice, we get 2 materials, 1 unrest from mysticism. We discard the unrest and return it with the bread and circus. Let's get 1 population from Rome, and that's about it. Let's exhaust the shrine, pay 1 material to draw a card, and let's play it. I can acquire any card basically, and let's acquire this metropolis. And put this card into history. Let's exhaust mysticism to gain the action back, and coinage to draw a card, which is leadership. I will just play it to draw another card. Let's use 1 action to play this land. I may garrison a card, there's no need. Let's use another action to play the other land. Let's play it here, which gets me 1 material, and I may garrison a card, but there's no need. Let's play the Great to gain 1 action and put this card into history. And let's play one of the prosperities. All players may draw a card, so he discards a card. I forgot to fill the market. And let's get population. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 population. Let's take a 10 and return 3. And I get to draw a card. Use the last action to play Glory. I can abandon 3 cards. Let's abandon these 3. And take 1 of the Fame cards. The only Fame card is the King of Kings. It says that when you would gain this card, instead resolve it, then flip it. This triggers the game end. We're not a barbarian, we are an empire, which gains us 3 victory points. And develop for free. We can do this even though the development deck is exhausted. And let's take the most expensive one. And flip it. This has triggered the end of the game. We finish this round and we have one more round. At the end of the turn, I need to still add a progress to something. Let's add it to pharmacy. I return the tokens. I can discard cards. Let's discard 1, 2, 3. And I get to draw more cards. I need to develop first for 4 materials. And the hand size is, as before, 6. 3 for the bot. For the land, play this land and exile a card from the market. Play this land and exile a card from the market. Play this land and exile a card from the market. And prosperity, which is nowhere, it goes to other. Acquire a land, which will be this one because it has a point. And that's it. It would add a progress, but there's nothing there. We go on to solstice. We gain 2 materials from coinage, 1 unrest from mysticism. We discard a card and return the unrest from hand and discard pile because of bread and circus. Let's gain 1 population from Rome, the Eternal City. And let's see what we can do in the last turn. Let's spend the first action for the Senate. I may acquire a civilized card. You may put a card from your hand into your history. Let's acquire the cataphracts. And let's play it. Each other player abandons a land. I may acquire land, there is no need. And I may garrison this card into a land to gain its play effect again. Let's garrison into the hills to gain another population. Let's exhaust mysticism to gain another action. The shrine to pay 1 material to draw a card. Let's use an action to play prosperity. The bot discards a card. We draw a card. And let's get population again. 1, 2, 3, 4 this time. Let's exhaust coinage to draw 1 more card. And I think I need to play military. Each other player discards 2 cards. The bot doesn't discard any cards, but I may break through for a civilized card, which will be pharmacy. And I think that's it. At the end of the turn, I add 1 progress to something. I return the tokens. Let's discard all these cards and keep the unrest. And draw up to 6. need to draw one more card. Let's pay 3 population to get legions. And draw the next card. For the bot, we have 5. Place the land and exiles a card. Place the land, no more cards to exile. Place the land, no more cards to exile. And glory, abandon 3 lands. To develop for free. And at the end of the turn, we still get the solstice phase. We would get 2 materials from coinage, gain an unrest, discard a card, and return the 2 unrest. 1 from discard pile, 1 from the hand because of bread and circus. And we get 1 population from the Eternal City. And this was the gameplay. Let me do some quick checks in order to see the scores. If I can find it again, I will put a link in the description with a calculator for the scores, which makes all of this a lot easier. So give me a moment, I'll be back with the scores. I got 96 points, the bot has 73 points, which means that for this game I have won against the bot at level Imperator. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Have a nice day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.